So I forgot to record the very beginning of Marketing Romance, so I'm reconstructing what we had said. We are initiating a discussion about using BookFunnel for marketing, and Annie has Annie Kelly has used BookFunnel to help grow her email list from 31 to over 300 in a very short period of time. And she did this by using, well, I think that part of this is included in the recording, but she basically used BookFunnel on some of their giveaways to get new members into her email list. Some of the people who downloaded her book for free unsubscribed afterwards, but she still has 10 times as many subscribers as she had initially. And I think that the rest of the video probably goes into different ways that you can use BookFunnel. You can use it for giveaways for growing your email list. You can use it for reaching other people to buy your book. You can join with other authors on giveaways or price reductions. So there's a lot of different ways that you can use BookFunnel, and we talk about that, and we talk about some other things. So I'm going to add this to the beginning of what I had, and that will give kind of an explanation of where we are in the middle of the discussion. You can promote your book on BookFunnels for a price. You don't have to give it away. You can have a discounted price, a full price, or you can give it away. It depends. As you mentioned, Annie, a lot of people that, if they can get it for free, they'll download it for free and then unsubscribe from you. Yep. And that's a disappointment because, maybe they will, maybe they won't read it, but chances are that they're not even the kind of people who are going to go and give you a review either. So that's kind of disappointing. Where, even offering it for 99 cents, which doesn't really earn you anything, but at the same time, at least they've got some skin in the game, so to speak. They paid 99 cents, so maybe that's going to be on the top of their to read list instead of at the bottom of all the hundreds of freebies that they have downloaded. So there's that. And then the nice thing about cross promotions with other authors is that they're promoting to their list, you're promoting to your list, and there's a lot of, if people are on their list and they download a book from another author, chances are a lot better, I think, that they're going to stay on that list. If they like the kind of books that you write. And I know you write really good books. Michael, share with us, are you a published author or a pre-published author?
I'm published. I just do short stories.
Okay. So have you written a novel yet or a novella?
A novel.
Okay. Is that something that you aspire to do?
I'm pretty much switching with short stories. Yeah.
Okay. And some people, myself personally, I'm too verbose to write a short story because I know you have to have all the same elements in there. You have to have your beginning, middle, and end. I admire people who can write short stories. One of my biggest challenges is writing blurbs. When you have a 93,000 word novel, try and cut that down to 250 words is difficult. So I admire that you can write short stories, Michael. So, and I have no clue as to whether or not short stories, I have no clue as to whether or not BookFunnels does things with short stories. That would be something to look into, I suppose, if you're a short story writer. So, okay. So what other things are you doing, Annie, for marketing?
Well, I'm building my newsletter. As I said, I started this December. I had gathered a few names before, but it was just basically friends. Trying to be a little bit more present on social media. Uh, I went to a couple conferences over the last few years, but it was really good for networking. But when it came to sale, the the return on investment, sorry, I'm trying to translate at the
Yeah.
same time. The return on investment was really not
Right.
there.
Yeah.
Um, Absolutely not, because though those conferences can be extremely costly,
Oh, yeah.
and obviously you always have dozens of really big names there.
Yeah.
Lovely people, which is nice to know and to take from information and experience from them, but soak in from them. But when it comes to selling, it's if you're a lesser name, maybe you're gonna find a couple readers here and there, because what we sold was hard copies. I'm sorry, um, not hard covers, but
Oh, the
proper
paperback.
copies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Paperback, sorry,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah. That's
And so yeah, obviously, and they were full price. So obviously, somebody invests $15 in you, it's because yeah, they do tend to they do plan to read this. So I did like this idea, but from me living where I am, going across the United States left and right like that, it gets too pricey for me. So
yeah.
I don't know if I move to Scotland, it might be easier to travel there to some big cities, because every country have their own well, every country except Canada, it seems. No. Um, there's not much in Quebec, but I don't, it's languishing. But th those are things I've been working on: newsletter, book funnel, social media presence, and yeah, writing book number three, which I haven't even started. So,
Yeah.
well, I
Well,
did start, but I'm a plotter, and I just try to focus on the plot. So
yeah.
it's just marketing wise, that's what I'm been focusing.
Okay. Okay. And I have done quite a few book fairs, where the authors are setting up and selling their books, and mixed results. Sometimes it's worth it, and sometimes it's like, oh, why did I even come? And what I found is that the ones that have hundreds of authors are not as the return on investment isn't as good as the smaller ones. I think people just have too many choices, and you're right about some of the bigger names. Yeah, they'll sell a lot where the smaller names won't. So I like, in fact, I always did very well at the smaller Christmas
Okay.
fairs and things of that nature. So um, and of course there's libraries everywhere. They're always looking for speakers, and to be able to go to a library and have them promote you. And of course, you can promote yourself too, and talk about your journey as an author and have your books for sale. That's really kind of nice, because you can speak a little bit about, just giving teasing information about your book so that people will want to read more. So that's always, really good. Of course, the newsletter should be the foundation, and you should always, before spending money on ads, you should always know that your books are going to sell. And so, what about, have you submitted any of your books, Annie, to any of the awards programs to become, because I think that you will really qualify as an award winner.
I probably could. I did. The only I hold on. I did submit to Hearts to History a few years ago. I came second runner up, and I won in God, I won as the God, what was the name? I'm sorry if I'm taking too long. Legend, A Man for All Season. So, oh no, that was my second place. Um, for The Blind Seer, which my
Mm-hmm.
first novel. And so I won second place for that one. I was thinking through to about entering the sim contest. Actually, contest is something I would like to do. They're not too pricey, and it's a good way again to get notes, to get feedback. I think that that's a pretty good way, and I think Michael could be interested in that as well, because you have different categories, and I'm sure you do have, you have things for children books, you have novels, different lane, different like historical. There's tons of ranges in there, and there is, I'm sure I have seen them contests for short stories, and that's a good way. That's not too expensive, I think. I just haven't figured out which, because again, it's like there's 100 in front of you. Which one are you going to pick? Which one is worth it?
Yeah, that's a very good point. I mean, there are hundreds of of book awards. I was shocked when I found out how many hundreds there were. In this past February for my writing romance mastery summit, I interviewed Hannah Jacobson, who's a CEO of Book Awards Pro, and I'm going to get her URL to look up and put that in the chat. But yeah, I was absolutely amazed at how many hundreds. And the nice thing is, and Book Awards Pro, there is a free program that they have that you put information about your book, and they will send you all the different book awards that you could be applying for. And of course, there's always a fee for doing that, but you can pick and choose if you want to. If you want to pay to be in their their paid service, then they actually narrow that down a little bit. The most appropriate ones. There's the URL in the chat, bookwardspro.com. So that's something that a person can look at, because if you have won an award or been a finalist or second place like you, Annie, that should be promoted. You should have your that on the front of the cover. If you, there's a few things that are, and this does all have to do with marketing, a few things that are very helpful. If you have another author, and she or he doesn't even have to be a big name author. If you have another author who will give you like a 1-sentence blurb that you can put on the cover of your book, on the front of your book, that's always a good thing. And amazingly, usually all you have to do is ask. And, like I'm familiar with your books. I'm not like a big name author, but I'm started, through my summits and everything, I'm getting to be a little bit more well known. And I would be happy to put a blurb for one of your books, Annie, because I know you're writing. And a lot of times it's just a case of asking somebody. I had a gal who wrote for Harlequin, and she gave me a blurb. And when I recovered my book, I forgot to have the blurb put on it. So, it's like I don't really want to pay to have it recovered again. But, but that's something to think about if you know an author. And if you have won an award or are a finalist, and I will show you a cover for one of my books. I have 2 awards, and so I did have those recovered with my little seal put on there. Just give me a minute and I will find it. Let me see. I will find it before I share a screen, for the simple reason Zoom slows everything down so much. But let me see here. I think this is where I have it. Yeah, here's one. Okay, just a second. I'll share my screen here. Share, oops, I'm gonna get this out of the way. Share screen. So you can see my screen, right? So this seal right here is my finalist. It says
okay, I see that.
Book Excellence Awards finalist. And I thought to myself, because I have a Book Excellence Award finalist for 2 novels, both of my historical novels. And when I was talking to Hannah Jacobson at Book Awards Pro, I said to her, "Oh, I feel like I'm the bridesmaid, but never the bride." And I was surprised. She said, with Book Awards Pro, that a finalist is an award winner. So some of them you have to win first place to be the award winner, but a lot of them, if you're in the finalist, you are an award winner. Like with Book Awards Pro, they have one seal for a finalist, they have another seal for an honorable mention. So, very definitely. And, these here are my, this is the cover for my Kindle. So I had that put on there. But I even got actual stickers that I can stick on my physical books. So I thought that was funny too. So
I love that cover. I love that cover, by the way.
Well, thank you. And then I'll show you my other cover too. My other one. Hold on, I need to stop sharing.
I've read Sweetbriar.
Hold on.
I have read it. So Book Awards Pro.
Yeah.
I love them.
And where's my other one? I know where my other one is. Here it is.
I'll just mute myself for 1 second.
Okay. Here it is. I have to find it. Okay. Oops. Okay, here's. Oh, that's not what I want. Well, I'll find it here in a minute. There it is. This is the other one. Yes, I know participants can see my screen, and that's not the best picture because this is I had it Photoshop, so it looks like it's on a Kindle here. That's not my best one. This glossy, shadowy thing doesn't show on the real cover. But again, I had that finalist thing put on there. So
okay.
And that is nice because you can also do book releases. Hold on a second. I'm going to stop sharing. You can do press releases with, newspapers or, any other place that will. A press release is nice because it's free advertisement. You can send it out to hundreds of places if you want to, and you never know who's going to put it. You can send those things to you can send them to radio stations that maybe do interviews, and you can send them to podcasts and things like that. And that's another way to expand, is to do radio interviews, to do podcast interviews, and talk about having won an award, or talk about a new release that you have coming out. So, and there are hundreds of podcasts out there that are looking to interview authors about their books. The main thing is to make sure that their audience is a match. So, some of the podcasts, they want to talk to authors of contemporary. Some of them want to talk to authors of historical. Some are, crime thrillers, some are fantasy, some are romance. So it's just a matter of researching a little bit and then approaching them. They don't know who you are if you don't approach them. And
and you have to, as you say, you have to do a little bit of research, because as a historical romance, if I approach somebody who only does a Victorian dark romance, I might not be a good fit for them. And so learn the thing. And the thing I've heard was that you have to do your research about them and include. It's like, I suppose, when you write a pitch letter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's exactly the same. You're just pitching something different. So what I have been told, and I've been on a few podcasts. I haven't gone out and looked for them. They have kind of come to me, which is always nice. But what I've been told by people who actually go out and you pay for their service and they will find you podcasts, is, make sure that before you pitch them, make sure that their audience is what you are looking for, and that what you have is what their audience is looking for. Listen to a couple of their podcasts or portions of them and refer to that. I was really interested in podcast number such and such because you talked about whatever. They like to hear that. Oh, wow, you listen to my podcast. How nice. It's not like we have time to listen to hundreds of podcasts all the time, but we do have time to at least get a little bit of a blurb here and there. And then tell them why you think that you would be a good guest for them, which means what's in it for them to have you as a guest. So that's always, yes, it takes some time, and it's like, how many hats can we put on? Well, we have to have a lot of hats put on if we're going to do it ourselves. There's always the service providers out there, if we have the money to do that, but the thing is, say for instance that you decide, okay, for this next year, in the next 12 months, I want to be on 12 podcasts. Let's say that you do that. And that's, you have some research to do, but it's probably a realistic thing that you could be on one podcast a month. So then when you are ready to be on the podcast, and this is one thing podcasters like to know, is what audience do you bring? What's your social media connections? What's your email connections? That kind of stuff. Where have you been before? They always like to see that too. So, but then it's like, okay, yes, you will put it on your social media. Yes, you will tell your email, but then it might actually be a good thing to pay for an ad. Then you're not necessarily going to be promoting your book, but you're going to be promoting yourself. But again, that is a good reason to send out a press release. Oh, Annie Kelly is going to be a guest speaker on blah, blah, blah podcast, and anytime you can get yourself into the media, do it. It's free advertising. Somebody's going to see it. Somebody's going to buy your book. So those are some ideas there.
Yeah, quite a few. Interviews in my newsletter. I'm starting this. I'm featuring one author per month. I'm just starting this, and I'm doing one interview per month. I have a YouTube channel which I've never used, but I'm going to use it, and I have to run some tests this afternoon actually to see how to record an interview with this author. She's a good friend of mine. She's from Detroit. So obviously we can't be in the same room, but technology being what it is, hopefully I can either, I don't know, maybe through, I don't know which channel, but actually I'm with MailerLite for my newsletter, and it seems pretty easy. And I think most email providers have become pretty user friendly. And it's not that difficult to embed a video in a newsletter. I've done it once, and it was not difficult at all. Very easy.
It isn't. I don't know how slow that makes it for people to download an email or download the video on the email. I have no clue, as opposed to having the email embedded versus having a link in the email to
it's just a link. It's going to be the link to my YouTube channel, and the interview is going to be there.
Yeah. Okay. That's great. Well, and the nice thing there is that you can also remind people that they should subscribe.
Yeah, exactly. And I travel a lot, and this could be part of my YouTube channel as well. Putting research I do when I do go to Scotland. This is the castle. That is my actual inspiration. You know what? I told you it would you had red bricks. That's why. And standing in there, and so.
Well, I was really amazed. The only thing I've ever really used YouTube for is to put my marketing romance and spotlight on romance up there. And every once in a while I remember to record a tip, so it's like a 2-minute tip. And, I never really thought about having subscribers. And I noticed one day, oh, I've got a few subscribers. That's not, I looked the other day, I have 162 subscribers. I have no idea how I ever got 162 subscribers, but that's cool.
Well, actually, I didn't even know I had a YouTube channel. My husband set it up for me a couple years ago, and I says, "Oh shit, William, do you know if it's hard to set up a YouTube channel?" I said, "Sure, no problem. I'll do it for you." And we looked last night, and he says, "Oh my God, you have one." I'm like, "How did I not know this?" He
Yeah.
said, "Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I must have opened it without telling you like 2 years ago." Okay,
So that's funny, yeah. And when you have 1,000 subscribers or more, that's when people can advertise on your channel, and then you start bringing in income from that. So that's always kind of exciting there too. So, and if you go onto YouTube, you will find there's a number of romance authors on there, and authors, or like Lisa London. She's a romance author, and I interviewed her on my very first summit. And yeah, she said that when I asked her if she had a giveaway for the premium pass buyer, she says, no, I don't do that anymore. She says, I do 2 or 3 different things, like cooking and the romance and something else. And she says, I just have a membership site now, and I throw everything in there. So if people want to, be on my membership site, they get all of this stuff. Oh, well, that's pretty cool. So, there's a lot of different things that you can do to market yourself. So, and they all kind of play into each other too. If you're going
some of it all comes back to doing your research. You have to research for your contest. You have to research for what you're going to put in your newsletter to be in your genre. You have to, as you say, research for your podcast. Which one are you going to get familiar with, and what can they do for you, and what can you do for them? And it all goes back down to that research, to that constant research. But there's no writing a novel without doing this.
That's true. And
there's no writing, I think, without doing this.
There's also the thing to consider: why write and I mean, yeah, there are people who write novels for themselves because they just enjoy it. They don't care if they ever sell any. But I say to myself, the world needs what we write. And so if we're going to write, we should promote ourselves. And there are a lot of ways that we can promote ourselves that don't cost money, that we don't have to go and pay for ads. And ads are getting less and less effective. So, any way that we can.
It's money. I haven't done them. The only ones I would do at the moment would be Facebook ads. And even then, that's a lot of research. And as you say, they're less and less effective. So it's,
right. But I'm
not sure I want to go this way.
The whole thing is, and how we can tie it all together. I think, your newsletter should be the basis, but then there are things that you should be doing every single month. And, once a quarter, you should have some type of a press release out. Every single time you release a book, you should have a press release. Every single time you add something to your YouTube channel is a good reason to have a press release. Maybe they will be picked up by some people and not others. Doing a podcast, you should have a press release about that. So, there's having a contest, having a giveaway contest with other authors. Do a press release about that. You should have a press release. And I'm speaking as a person who doesn't do this, but I know I should do this. I have been following Jill Lublin for quite a while, and participated in her publicity boot camp, which she has renamed the what is it? Something or other. Something massive media intensive or something like that, which is coming up here very soon. It's 3 days, like 2 hours one day and 4 hours on 2 other days. And she basically goes through, how do you write your how do you write? And you actually do this. You write your unique whatever value proposition, and these are the things that you need. This is how you do it. And then at the end of the 3 days, she actually brings media in for you to pitch to, and give feedback to you on your pitches. And okay, there's a cost involved. There's $197 cost to be on this intensive. Although if you go to my summit and buy my ticket, you get entry free, and the ticket costs less.
Okay.
I mean, register.
I'll definitely check that out.
Yeah, register for the summit. Buy a ticket within the first 15 minutes. It's only $67, and you get that and a lot of other things for free. I'm going to pitch myself here.
Well, you might as well. By all means. By all means.
But
something I struggle with is.
I was going to say, I've gone through that intensive, and it is definitely worth it. I paid the $197 to go through the intensive. It's worth it. So what is it that you struggle with, Annie?
It's just time management as well, because we know you have to do, everybody has to do marketing, but we also have to write, and I'm not a fast writer. I see people releasing books after books. It takes me a while, especially this year. For me, this year has been difficult. Well, last year was difficult, and this year is a little bit of the aftermath. When I say difficult, I don't mean all bad. It's just a lot of things came at me all at once, and that was difficult. A lot of those things were good, but it's just too much. And so if you there's a contest, podcast, press release, and oh, by the way, I have to write. So it's just figuring out the way. I personally think, and I don't know if Michael will agree with this, you probably have to choose one or two. Like right now, I have my newsletter. I'm focusing on that. I would be looking for another one, contest. Yeah, that would be possible. And maybe start looking for podcasts. I think with those three, eventually press releases. If I do land podcasts, I would go press releases with them. But I think it's very easy to spread yourself too thin, and I have no time left to write.
You're right in the respect that you shouldn't try and do everything. Very definitely, because you do spread yourself too thin, and then you don't accomplish anything, as unfocused, and you get started on something and don't finish something else. Growing your email list, that should be something that happens every single day, every single week, every single month. And I'm guilty of having let mine slide when I started doing summits, and now I have picked that up again. But instead of sending out an email every single week, I've been sending out one a month, and that's not enough. One a week is about right. And what do? I go on to Amazon. I find 3 novels that have been released within the last year, one historical, one contemporary, and one inspirational or faith-based, one or the other.
Yeah.
So the first 2, they can either be clean or closed door or sexy, spicy, but then obviously the inspirational faith-based isn't. But, so I put it out there, and here's some ideas for you. And my group loves that. I should do it more often. I think if I did a newsletter more often, I would probably segment that down to, this is the week that I do the inspirational faith-based. This is the week that I do the historical. This is the week that I do the contemporary. This is the, something like that. And maybe do 3 per month, and segment my reader list as to who wants this, who wants that, and who wants the other, so that they're not getting a lot. But if they want all 3, they can get all 3. If they want 2 or they want 1, that would be something that I'm going to have to work toward through the end of this year. So there's your list, and growing your list. Now, when you have a small list like yours, Annie, and you want to grow your list, very definitely using something on Story Origin or Book Funnel to join with other authors, or to do a giveaway for yourself. Very definitely So I would highly recommend that you do that. As far as the other things, I would put press releases number 3 before podcasts even.
Okay.
Because number 1, to do a press release, you have to figure out your brand, which is going to help you with everything else that you do. It's going to help you identify those other marketing opportunities, be they podcasts or radio interviews or anything like that. So I would definitely say figuring out your brand with and doing the press releases would come first. Plus, as press releases go out and people start to know you, they're going to get on your list. They're going to follow you on your YouTube. So, I mean, if you're going to be doing something and recording it anyway, put it up on YouTube. I wouldn't put that before or above press releases, because I think that press release, being able to do at least 4 a year, is really important. And it will help build your brand, help build your name. And I do have something else that I have to do at 3:30, and we're just about to at the end of our time. And I forgot to record the very beginning of this, so I'm going to have to piece that in. I think that we were introducing book funnels. So anything else that we can discuss real quickly before I have to go?
No, maybe just give a word to Michael, who's been really quiet, and we've kind of monopolized the time a little bit. I think I have.
So, Michael, is there anything you would like to share with us before we wrap things up?
Just I agree with not focus on too much one time.
Okay. So, okay. I can't hear you very well. I think that my internet's a little bit slow, so it's breaking up a little bit. But I hope that you found some value from this discussion today. Okay. I think my internet has given up the ghost because everybody is frozen. So I will thank everybody for coming, and everybody on Facebook for coming, and we will talk next month.